homes warm and their bills down, whilst retaining heritage and other matters. And I think he's right to raise it, and I will ensure that he gets a full response.
Jeremy Corbyn.
Mr. Speaker, could I strongly support the request made by the member for Brent North for a statement about Thames Water from the government? This company gives itself huge profits, which pays to shareholders and pays its executives massive amounts of money, presides over leaks all over its region, pollutes our seas and our rivers, and to me it is an example of the disaster of privatisation of the water industry. And what we need from the government is a clear statement that instead of regulation, we will return Thames Water to public ownership so that the people of London and the whole of the region can enjoy clean water and our seas will no longer be polluted by them.
Minister.
Well, he's right, there's been severe problems and that these problems have let everybody down, and they're completely unacceptable, and they do come from severe failures of governance and regulation as well that underpin the water sector. That's why we've just passed a water special measures bill. I think we'll receive royal assent shortly, which will prevent these erroneous bonuses being paid for poor performance, and we will be bringing forward soon as well some further measures for wider water reform, which are currently under review, and I will ensure the House is updated of those matters and that the honourable gentleman's opinions are included in that.
Graham Downey.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. This week, the UK Government announced positive changes to apprenticeships which will cut red tape and increase collaboration between businesses and skill providers, setting more young people on a path to successful careers. By contrast, in Scotland, the last 2 years have seen delays and freezes on modern apprentices, harming people in my constituency and across Scotland. Does the Leader of the House agree with me that the SNP should be following the lead set by this UK Labour Government and taking radical action to support the next generation of the workforce?
Leader of the House.
Well, I absolutely do agree with him. I mean, the Scottish Government have failed on apprenticeships, let's be honest, with a 10-year decline in apprenticeship starts and numbers. This government, this new Labour government, is absolutely determined to turn around the problems we've seen with apprenticeships in England and elsewhere, and that's why we're unlocking 10,000 new apprenticeship starts this week with some of our changes. But the Scottish Government absolutely should follow our lead and ensure that young people in Scotland get the opportunities they deserve.
Andrew Rosendale.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I would like the Leader of the House to be aware that the residents of the Old Church Estate in Romford have been terribly let down by Sanctuary Housing Association for months on end, with long delays to urgent repairs, leaving residents suffering without heating or hot water throughout winter, as well as malfunctioning lifts, rendering disabled residents prisoners in their own homes. As she will know, Section 11 of the Housing Act mandates landlords to carry out essential repairs within a reasonable time frame, but this is often not enforced in practice, leaving constituents like mine living in unacceptably poor conditions. So, will the Leader of the House please ask the Minister for Housing to make a statement on this frightful situation and take urgent action to get this heartbreaking matter resolved as quickly as possible for my constituents?
Leader of the House.
Well, can I thank him for raising that on behalf of his constituents, and I'm sure it's something that many of us across the House are familiar with, and I'm really sorry to hear of the poor service being provided, the poor state of repair of houses being provided by Sanctuary Housing in his constituency. He will know that that's why, one of the reasons why this government wants to strengthen the rights of renters, whether they be in social housing or private housing, and we are currently taking through the Renters' Rights Bill, which will give those living in houses in his constituency even more right to ensure that they live in a decent, well-maintained, safe home.
Julie Minns.
Madam Deputy Speaker, I know that I and many new members of this House have been very grateful over the last 7 months for your guidance and support from your teams in helping us get to grips with the rules and procedures of this place. Rules and procedures that I know the Leader of the House is committed to ensuring are upheld and respected at all times. I imagine she therefore shares my concern that last night's political broadcast from the Conservative Party not only extensively featured the use of a taxpayers funded ministerial car, but also was filmed in part on the parliamentary estate in Speaker's Court, in direct contravention, as I understand it, of the rules of this House. Can I ask the Leader of the House to ensure that this matter will be fully investigated?
Leader of the House.
Well, can I thank her for raising this matter that's very recently come to light? She's absolutely right. This is against protocol. It is against protocol of this House to speak without permission, particularly in Speaker's Court. And I think the Leader of the Opposition, if she is hearing this today, should offer Mr Speaker a full and speedy apology for that. But also, we have high standards that we're all judged by, and using ministerial, government-paid for, publicly paid for cars for party political campaigning purposes is not allowed. And rightly so, because our constituents wouldn't expect that to be the case. So I hope the Leader of the Opposition has heard this question today and takes action to put this right.
David Mundell.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, and with grateful thanks to the Backbench Business Committee, I'm leading a debate in Westminster Hall this afternoon on HIV Testing Week, and obviously the APPG on HIV and AIDS is very keen to highlight this week, and indeed very much welcome the test that the Prime Minister took as part of highlighting that facility. But in poorer countries, tests and indeed treatment are only available thanks to the resources from the Global Fund. Given the uncertainty of funding from the United States, can the Right Honourable Lady ensure that a statement comes forward about the UK's approach to the replenishment of the Global Fund, because this time around the UK's leadership will be vital if the fund is to be sustained?
Leader of the House.
Can I first of all just let him know that I have raised the issue with ministers that he raised with me last week about the Hughes report, and I'm hoping that he and I will get a full reply about that. Yet again this week he raises a very important matter, and can I congratulate him on securing the Westminster Hall debate on that this afternoon. HIV testing is very important. I was so proud to see our Prime Minister being the first Prime Minister to take a public HIV test, because I think that will really encourage others to do so. And he will know that it is our mission to end new transmissions of HIV in England by 2030. But he raises important matters of the Global Fund. We continue to support funding for that. We'll continue to do that. And I will ensure that he's updated on how that can continue.
Gurinder Jassam.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. As an officer of the All Party Parliamentary Group for Semiconductors, it was a pleasure to join colleagues in welcoming academics, industrialists, researchers, manufacturers to a reception in this palace this week celebrating semiconductors. The UK has very real strength in this area. Our research is the best. Research base is the best in the world, and manufacturing base is world beating, and we have semiconductor clusters across the UK bringing high quality employment and particularly in compound semiconductors. However, the industrial strategy, we were told at the event, only mentioned semiconductors once. Would the Leader of the House ensure ministers are aware of the importance of a reliable supply chain of high-quality semiconductors to our drive to become more self-sufficient in green energy, defence and other sectors, and to our growth agenda?
He's right to raise the vital role that semiconductors play to future technologies, our current industry as well, and we are a world leader in this space, and I know that in his region that is particularly the case as well. They are covered in our industrial strategy, and it's that we've got a new industrial strategy for the first time in many years, which academia, business and others are absolutely welcoming, and rightly so. It's also about our economic security as well, and making sure that we've got these homegrown technologies and all of that can support them. But I will ensure that he gets a full reply about that.
Robbie Marr.
Madam Deputy Speaker, this year marks the 160th anniversary of Ilkley train station, a vital transport link for my town, and I'm delighted to say that Stephen Thornton, who I met again just last